Thank you very much. My name is Trevor Cusworth. I'm with Schneider Electric, and as Harry mentioned, I'm the co-chair with Don Bartusiak from Exxon of the Open Process Automation Forum. I just wanted to start with a little bit of an overview of who we are for people that haven't seen us before and some of the accomplishments we've made, and then we're going to bring up members of the different committees to talk about activities within their groups and accomplishments we've had this last year. We're also recruiting. We're looking for more people to join. We definitely want end users and other vendors that aren't members today. And if you look around, everyone with a gray shirt is pretty much a member of the forum, and they can help you with that. So I'm just going to roughly go over who we are, what our values are, the scope of the forum, the current organizational members and the architectural vision, a little bit about the organization and some of the liaison relationships that we have. Since we're trying to be a standard of standards, we're not developing new standards if standards already exist. And then just talk about some of the publications that you can get online, and then a quick overview of the timeline. We're going to go fairly quickly because we've got about 15 people going to be speaking this morning. So who we are, basically it's a group of end users from different industries, oil and gas, chemicals, petrochemicals, food and bev, pulp and paper, mining, and some manufacturing, including pharmaceuticals. We have system integrators, and then a lot of the hardware and software and service providers are members of the forum. Our values, basically, we're looking to develop an open, interoperable DC control system that will drive more value from end user operations. It's going to be safe, intrinsically safe, built from the ground up. We hope it will reduce lifecycle costs. And the upgrades of these systems should be easier in the future because they'll be interoperable, and you'll be able to take out components and put in new components online without having to shut down. We want to be able to maintain end user software portability, which means that if you write an application, you don't have to rewrite it if you move it to another platform. It should work from platform to platform. Should be easy to integrate third-party products and other components. We hope it will foster and reward innovation because now people or companies that have been excluded from this because of the closed systems today will now be able to make offers and put them into these systems going forward. And we want to protect intellectual property. We're not intending to expose vendor intellectual property. The scope is basically anywhere from the DCS-IO upwards into the HMI and then into the advanced control systems where you would run advanced process control, maybe optimization solutions. We're also looking at PLCs as well, again, from the IO upwards. We're not getting involved in the field instruments, and we're not getting involved in the business systems. We've excluded safety systems at this time, but we will be looking at how do we interface safety systems into these new systems going forwards. This is the vision. I think a lot of people have seen this slide, and we've shown it many times. Anything in yellow is new, and anything in blue is a legacy. So we're not saying you have to rip and replace everything. We will allow you to connect to legacy systems, legacy electrical analyzers on all the different components. But there's a new real-time bus, which will be based on OPC UA. And then down on the bottom left, you'll see these new components called DCNs, distributed control nodes. They are really allowing you to move control nearer or out into the field, nearer to the devices themselves. And then up in the top left, you'll see the new compute environment. This is where you will run the higher level applications. Just a quick overview of our members. This is a partial list. We have about 92 members at this time. And we're adding new members all the time, and we welcome, as I mentioned earlier, any people that want to join. The more people involved in this, the more adoption there will be in the industry and more acceptance. But you can see we have a pretty good mix of companies involved in this activity. The forum is organized in this way. Basically, there's an overarching of the forum management. And then beneath that, we have working groups, the business working group, the technology working group, And then the Enterprise Architecture Working Group, they've been around since the start of the forum. And then recently we've added the Certification Working Group, who will be responsible for looking at how do we certify products to be OPAF compliant. And so that you'll have a stamp of approval, and you know if you buy a product with that label on it, then it will work with your OPAF system. So that working group just got formed, and in fact, they just published their first document. We sign a lot of liaison relationships, and the reason we do that is, I mentioned earlier, we don't want to be a new standard. We want to develop a standard of standards. So if something already exists, then we want to take advantage of it rather than rewrite it from scratch. So you can see some of the ones here, Automation ML, Control Systems Integrators Association. There's an outfit called the DMTF, which has a product called Redfish, which we're using for system management. Fieldcom, a global mining, industrial internet consortium, ISA. And then also people ask us a lot about how do we fit in with Namur. We're complementary to Namur. We're not replacing it. We're actually working directly with them to jointly architect these future solutions. An OPC Foundation, PLC Open, and ZVEI from Europe. Publications, all of these are available on the Open Group website. And if you go to Open Group and you go to the Open Process Automation Forum, you can download these. You don't have to be a member to download them. The most recent ones that we published at the end of last year, we finalized version 1 of the standard, which looks at interoperability. And then we published the preliminary version 2 of the standard in January this year, which is starting to look at portability of functionality across the systems. And then in January, we've also published the certification policy, which starts to talk about how do you build conforming products that can be certified to be OPAF compliant. Don't want to go into this in detail, but just want to show you that we do manage this project as a project. We have a project manager that looks after all the different activities, and you can see we have plans out certainly to the end of 2021 in terms of future publications. We try and publish about once a year a new version. So we're starting work on version 3, and you'll hear about that a little bit later this morning. And we're also looking at that, some guides, how to purchase these systems, and how to procure them. And then also some other guides around why should I do this? What's the value? How's it work in my industry? So we published a business guide last year, but we're actually revising it now to add more content to it. So there should be a new version of that coming out in the near future.